Hi everyone, welcome back to Sawyer Studios, and today I am doing sort of a reaction video to MandR's most recent video that he's posted, at least the most recent one I've found. It is called Making the New LEGO Star Wars ATTE Perfect, parentheses, it doesn't suck. Meaning that the ATTE Walker sucks now. So I just, MandR, I think, first I want to say I don't hate Ryan. I don't hate M&R Productions. He does a lot of great stuff when it comes to like rumor vids, when it comes to prediction videos, essentially. When it comes to reviews, pretty well, especially comparison videos. I like watching him for comparison videos and stuff like that. His M&R vlogs are also pretty good as well. What is, what just grinds my gears about him is the amount that he complains about Lego. And sometimes I think it's like justified complaints, and then sometimes I feel like he's just nitpicking for no reason. And it's just like, there really should be no complaining. So, I mean, I've heard from a friend that he complains a lot in this video about the ATTE Walker. I like the ATTE Walker a lot. I can only find a few complaints in it, honestly, but I mean, this video is 13 minutes and 36 seconds, so I guess I'm going to be just reacting to this and giving my thoughts on what I think about this video that he's posted. If you're new to Sawyer Studios, then go ahead and subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. Share this video, and yeah, let's just get into it and let's start watching him.
Hey everyone, Ryan here, and in today's video I have some negative attributes to talk about for a set that a lot of people, including myself, very much like and are very happy with generally for the summer 2022 wave, and that of course being the 75337 ATTE.
So he doesn't
By
think
the way,
it
this
sucks.
video is sponsored by Squarespace, so thank you Squarespace for sponsoring this. We'll talk a little bit more about them later and have links for them in the description below. Anyway, why do I have to bring up the bad things about the ATTE? Why can't we only talk about the good things? Because things can't get better if LEGO Star Wars doesn't realize the things they're doing wrong, which in a lot of cases in years past has been a lot of things. But this set is like...
What's wrong? The only thing wrong with the Clone Trooper command station is that LEGO didn't properly, I don't know what's going on with them. They're not producing that set fast enough. The Republic gunship, honestly, I don't see anything wrong with that set. I'm actually trying to, I wonder if he's talking about like the box art. But I mean, LEGO fixed that. So like the Republic gunship, the UCS gun, the fact that LEGO did a prequel set, like a prequel UCS set, I think should automatically just put this in the other lane. I have more problems with the ATTE Walker, which are hardly none, than the UCS gunship. I don't know why the UCS gunship's over there. I mean, the General Grievous Starfighter, other than the fact that Obi-Wan Kenobi minifig is like not correct and that it's too overpriced, I guess I'd put it over there. Yeah, AAT. I hope he doesn't bring that up again because I've had beef with him in the past and all that stuff. Why is the 501st Battle Pack down? Is that the 501st Battle? What's wrong with that set? Gosh.
Moving in a direction that I think is very good, but I think it's still very unfortunately far from perfect, and even worse, I think it would have been incredibly easy to make it what I consider to be perfect. Of course, that's going to change from person to person. My view is not exactly representative of every person ever, but I feel like I have some fair...
So I think this is it's funny. Just because we understand that Ryan here is saying his own personal, belief, his own personal opinion, and the fact that people, I don't know, I wouldn't call it like hate comments. I'm sure he gets some pretty bad comments, but the majority of comments I see is just like, hey man, I disagree with you here, here's why. I mean, to be honest, I think that if he has the right to voice his opinion, then everyone else has the right to voice their opinion as well in his comment section. It's not like he's going to voice his opinion and the people who disagree are like, you know what, man, sure, go for it. And then it stops there. Like, I mean, this is why I think I have the right to make this video, because I have the right to also voice my opinion. If someone does agree with MNR, or if someone likes MNR like 100%, you have the right to leave a hate comment in my comments. Like, I mean, that's social media. That is the internet. You know, you guys have that right to voice your opinions too. And if MNR, if you happen to ever see this, I welcome you. Go ahead, make a response video, because you have that right too. But it's a disclaimer. Yeah, I think him saying that is him trying to either lessen or eradicate the amount of hate comments on the video, which, like, just because people leave hate comments or comments that disagree with your point doesn't mean that they don't know this. It just means that they understand that they also have a right to voice their opinion too.
Points to bring up here, and I'm going to do just that. Now, before we talk about the bad with the ATT, there's, of course, a lot of good stuff with it. It comes with 5 clone troopers. That's the most clone troopers in a LEGO Star Wars set since 2009, and I think it's literally the second most ever. So that is definitely a great thing, because in years past, we've had sets like the Clone Turbo Tank, where
that is really nice. I really love how the ATT Walker
in a Clone
has
Turbo
a lot
Tank,
of
where the Clone Troopers. The Clone Turbo Tank. So we've had a lot of sets like that where there are some nonsensical choices of figures, and I like the direction we're going here.
Nonsensical.
More Clone Troopers in big, expensive Clone Trooper sets is the way it should be. It should have been for a long time, but as long as it continues to be the way it is now, I think that's just generally good.
Well, I think one of the reasons why LEGO did that in the past is because they had battle packs. Like, that was the point of battle packs. Like, get the set that doesn't come with a lot of clones, and then you also can buy a set that has a lot of clones. This actually, the fact that the ATT Walker has a lot of clones in it is more telling that there isn't going to be, unfortunately, a clone battle pack. Because think about it, the Kashyyyk sets he just showed, there was a Kashyyyk Trooper battle pack that came with 2 Kashyyyk Scout Troopers and 2 Kashyyyk regular Phase 2 Clone Troopers. This set, these 2 sets right here, the ATT Walker and the Gunship from 2013, there was a Droid Echoes versus Clone Trooper battle pack, so that you could buy more battle packs so you could fill out these sets. So I don't think LEGO was stupid or necessarily wrong when they came to not putting a lot of clones in this set. Yes, it was annoying, but from a business standpoint it made sense, because it forced you to go out and buy battle packs so that you could fill these sets up, which I did and a lot of other people did. So I wouldn't consider that a critique. I would really consider that just like a business choice that worked. And obviously LEGO, with the battle packs that we have now, moving away from that a little bit. And so we have now an ATT Walker that comes with 5 Clone Troopers, which is amazing. And as he said, the Dropship ATT Walker, yes, that was a great set to get a crap ton of Clone Troopers and Clone Pilots. But they still didn't nearly fill out that ATOT Walker as much as it could have. Like, I think it had a 9, 12, 15, I think it had 16 seats for Clone Troopers in the back, not counting the pilots, and it only came with 6 regular Clone Troopers. So you would still need to buy 10 more Clone Troopers. That would still justify you getting a couple Clone Battle Packs. So even that set emphasized getting more clones and stuff like that.
Thing for everyone involved, right? On another positive note, I suppose for some, surprisingly, I had to do some research for this, it is the most battle droids we've had in a set since 2015. LEGO is very good at putting 2 battle droids in a set, sometimes 1 obviously, but normally they come in pairs, and this time they included 3. So for those that want battle droids, of course, just getting 3 extras is not going to hurt you here.
Yeah.
I like that. There's a negative attribute to the battle droids we're going to talk about later, but I thought I'd bring it up as a positive here. It's also a very good and accurate looking ATT with tons of play functions that are returning from old versions of the set. It doesn't really push the envelope as far as playability goes. It's not something I'm personally looking for at this point in my life either anyway. I would also argue that the price at $140 is relatively fair. It's also a set based on Revenge of the Sith, which is my favorite Star Wars movie, and definitely the best of the prequels. So yeah, that's also
definitely the best of the prequels. Not my favorite Star Wars movie though.
Into the bad stuff. What gives, essentially, right? You have all these good things about the ATT, and you can basically create the perfect set that everyone would love, and not be able to have anyone say a bad word about it.
Love
you just
unconditionally.
do some simple stuff that really refine the set. The best thing I can equate this to is I'm in high school. I just wrote my 5-paragraph essay for English class, and it's a pretty good essay. It's gonna get me a B+, A-. The teacher's gonna read it. Actually, I don't know how the teachers read that many essays and grade them all, but we're going to assume that the teacher actually reads it. Gives me a B+, A-. It's in that range, right? But, I left something on the table there. I could have had that A+. I could have had that 110% extra credit, whatever it was that was there, and I just didn't take it. And that's...
I hate it, but this isn't MandR. This is just anyone. When someone says, 110%. It's like you can't give 110%. Like I can only give 100%, if that. And that's really hard to do. Like I hate it when people are like, give me 110%. It's like, I feel like if you were to ever use that hyperbolic statement, like save it for a time where, like, don't use it all the time. Because if you always say, give me 110%, it's not going to mean anything. It's going to lose its worth. And just, I don't know. That's just a pet peeve of mine. Anyway, I'm just going to keep going with the analogy that he has.
That's what it feels like a lot with these LEGO Star Wars designers. And before we get into all the things that I think are wrong...
Add Shock Trooper? What? Add Shock... What? Hold on.
Star Wars designers.
Oh, add Shock Trooper, as in like, oh, okay. That feels that feels super subjective. Like, I would be more upset with this. I'm more upset about this set that it's like $20 has 147 pieces. Sure, has some really great minifigs and pretty large pieces, considering. Add Shock Trooper? Like, that just feels completely subjective. Like, someone could say, like, no, this set is perfect the way it is. I wouldn't say add a Shock Trooper is, like, necessary. I agree. So, okay, I came up with a video. Let me just, one second, go for it a little bit.
And that's...
Yeah, right here, okay. So, add Phase 2 Cody. That's also, okay, whatever. So here's the thing. I came up with a video a couple months ago about the 2 complaints that LEGO YouTubers give and stuff. I categorize them into objective complaints and subjective complaints. I think the fix Obi-Wan burn marks is an objective complaint. Like, that is something that everyone can agree should have been fixed. And why is that? It's because we have an objective source that we can go to. You go to Revenge of the Sith, and you can see Obi-Wan does not have burn marks until the Battle of Mustafar. He does not have burn marks during his battle with General Grievous on Utapau. So this Obi-Wan Kenobi rendition is objectively wrong. Like, it's objectively wrong. It's an error. Like, it's not subjective whatsoever. You just watch the movie Revenge of the Sith. Now we go to...
That's what it feels like a lot with this Star Wars designers.
Add Shock Trooper. This set has nothing objectively wrong with it. Like, everything in this set is accurate, essentially, I guess you could say. I mean, the playable features, you need some leeway with stuff like, the gap with the window. Like, in order for the window to flip out, you need that gap in order for that function to actually function. To add a Shock Trooper, I would consider that to be a subjective complaint. Because, objectively speaking, yes, Shock Troopers were in that episode when Darth Maul was arrested. However, it's not necessary for this set, for the duel on Mandalore. I mean, in reality, they didn't even need to add that ancient force jail transportation cell, whatever. But they did. So I feel that within itself was just a courtesy of LEGO. Like, yeah, we're going to add this in for you guys. Add Shock Trooper, like, sure, it would have made the set better. I 100% agree. I don't think that's an objective complaint, though.
And before we get into all the things that I think are wrong with this ATT...
Oh my gosh, this again. Okay.
My disappointment is immeasurable. And my day is ruined.
I've made countless videos on this, so I'm just going to be super brief. The AAT, I believe this set, and once again, this is LEGO's ingeniousness of these sets. When they make a set that's obviously geared towards children, like an AAT that has a really big cannon, young kids are going to be like, whoa, big cannon, big gun, that's cool. Like, that's cool. Like, when I'm a kid, if I was a kid, middle school, I wouldn't be caring, like, oh, it's unproportional. Like, oh, it has a freaking big cannon on the front. Yeah, I want to get it. Like the Marauder, the Imperial Marauder. That is not a minifig scale set whatsoever. And it doesn't look that good, only because there's a lot of really awesome features to it, though. And how does LEGO get adults to buy these sets? Put exclusive minifigs in. So you have the Ahsoka Tano. This was the only set that she came in at the time, and a 332nd Trooper. Boom. Imperial Marauder. Get the mortar Stormtrooper, the artillery Stormtrooper in that set. Boom. Exclusive minifig. Adults will buy it. So I don't think in my opinion, this is not objectively ugly. I'd say to him, it's subjectively ugly. That's his opinion. I do not believe that that is a valid complaint, though, for this set, because I do think that LEGO was gearing the set towards kids. And I think kids love really big cannons. From being a kid myself, like, I think the only people who complained about this set were people who were expecting an AAT from, like, the Clone Wars AAT, like that one, like, very beautiful. This, like, just downsize the cannon, dude. You know, just, I don't know. You know, it's just, like, this set is meant to be for kids, and I don't think it's an objective complaint.
Like, I think where this probably stems from...
Make Knock Ugly, Impossible 3M Challenge. I don't know what that is. I don't think the tank is ugly. I mean, it could have looked better, sure. I mean, every LEGO set would probably look better. If you want it to be less ugly, just, you know, build your own. Built this from pieces from this set and the 2017 set, I think is 2007 or 2018 or whatever. Like, boom, have a new tank. There you go. I think it's fine. 262 pieces. Also, I bet they tried to keep it under 300 pieces. I think they did a... No.
Is that
I don't think it looks that bad,
cares,
honestly.
That says, hey.
Yes, Jedi Bob was the biggest fan's choice, but just LEGO... Just because the fans want Jedi Bob, which, by the way, wasn't everyone, I personally enjoyed the minifigs that came in the set. I mean, yes, we just got another Mace Windu in the tank, and we also just got that Clone Commander in another set, but Jedi Bob, like, not having Jedi Bob in the set did not ruin the set, in my opinion. Like, the set, nope, like, you're not getting the set for the minifigs. Come on, it's a UCS set. Get it for the fact that it's an amazing gunship. I wouldn't call LEGO assholes for not putting a Jedi Bob in the set.
Take this back to your desk, put a little more work into this, and it's going to be amazing. You're going to get an A+. They'll take the B+, the A-, and their money, and they'll walk. Like, that's what they do. So I have 5 things here that...
Okay, this is the problem with his analogy. When it comes to, like, grading a paper or an essay, the teacher will give you a rubric. At least a good teacher will. And I, you know, when I was doing music education, taking classes, learning how to write rubrics and structure them, the only way grading is ever fair, but from the teacher, is that if the student has a rubric first. Like, if the student doesn't have a clear objective, a clear goal, and clear standards to meet, a grade isn't going to be fair, because you need to tell the student, hey, here are the points that I'm going to give. These are the criteria for you to write a really good paper. If you don't do these, then not going to be a good paper. So there you go. When it comes to LEGO, so in this scenario, MandR, or we, or more so just MandR, is the teacher. He's the one grading these LEGO sets. LEGO gives him the LEGO set. In this analogy, this would be very unfair for LEGO if MandR never gives a rubric for LEGO to follow. And this would also have to assume that LEGO wants to follow this rubric to get a good grade. When it comes to the objective stuff, like the Obi-Wan Kenobi with the burn, the incorrect Obi-Wan, that I think is a gimme. I don't think you need a rubric. Like, I mean, I think the rubric is pretty self-explanatory. Like, just be accurate to Star Wars. Like, there you go. All these other complaints he's given, these very subjective opinions, he has taken those subjective opinions and given the ATT Walker set like a B+, as he says. Where a lot of people I know would give it an A++. Like, maybe they would give it 110%. So the fact that he's making this analogy that, like, oh, if LEGO just spent 5 more hours, this could be an A+ set. It's like, yeah, for him. You know, like, I'm sure it's an A. This is the hard thing with a company, because when you're trying to please everyone, like, worldwide, everyone loves Star Wars. You know, you're not just following one rubric. You're trying to please as many people as you can, and sometimes that takes compromise. Sometimes that, you know, does a lot of other stuff as well. So, you know, the fact that he's using this paper analogy, I think is a bad analogy, to be fair, because he's not the only one great in Lego. Everyone is great in Lego, essentially, and Lego is not necessarily trying to meet his standards, but the entire consumer base standards. There isn't a set rubric that the consumer base is given, and Lego has no obligation to anyway. I mean, so I just don't think that's a good analogy.
Make this ATTE perfect. If you have anything else, comment it down below. But I honestly think that
I'm
these
not
are the
commenting
types of
down
things
it
that, like,
below. I'm
they need someone there
talking
that
about
can
it
say,
now.
hey, these are problems with this set or that set or whatever set it is. Obviously, the ATT is the topic of today's video, but there are plenty of other sets that could have used someone to go, hey, let's put, like, 5 more hours of work into this, like, literally. So the first thing that I think, and not even I think, it is objectively inaccurate and wrong to be in the set, is the spider droid. The spider droid is actually something we've had in Lego.
I agree. And once again, that's an objective complaint, because in the Battle of Utapau, you saw crab droids, you saw tri-droids, like, you know, you saw mainly just crab droids. That is true. That's a fair point. I don't know why Lego put a dwarf spider droid in there, other than the fact that
even before that, I think it was
they already had the mold for it, and it was just easy. So
that's kind of a cool piece of Star Wars history for you.
I think
then
that's
in 2008 we got
lazy. Yes, I agree.
2013, 16, and 19, I think we got gray ones.
Hated that
and
one.
And of course, again here in
Stuck shooter one. That was so
we're
stupid.
getting another gray one, but this time it doesn't fit. All of the other times it actually fit. It was scene accurate to where it was from, either being Geonosis or Kashyyyk, but this is based on Utapau. Utapau has crab droids. They're all over the place in the Utapau scenes of Revenge of the Sith. How the designers missed this, I don't know. But what you'll see is the crab droids actually...
Oh no. The blatant pass interference call. Yeah, the refs messed up on that one.
Actually play a pretty big role throughout the battle, including one of my favorite Clone Trooper scenes in Episode 3, where the one Clone Trooper gets on top of the crab droid and shoots down into
that's
the tank
such
and destroy it.
That's such a good
cool
scene.
That would have been really cool to be able to reenact, but they didn't give that to us, of course, because why have something...
That's a fair point. If they did add a crab droid, you'd know every kid would be reenacting that scene. That's a really good point. That's a really good point, Ryan.
That's like literally their MO at sometimes. Like, I just don't get it. Next up has to do with the Phase 2 Cody minifigure, but not specifically the actual Phase 2 Cody. It's a good looking figure.
Okay.
I don't really have anything to say about that. However, he's missing a pretty key accessory, the hologram of Palpatine. And people might say, oh, but they have to make a new mold, blah, blah, blah. I know people like to rattle off a ton of excuses for Lego.
I'm not going to rattle off a ton of excuses. I know that they've made Palpatine molds, hologram molds. Yeah, it would have been nice if they added that. However, I don't see this set as like an Order 66 set. You know, like Lego, I think, once again, this is subjective, because Lego doesn't need to add this. Like, they're not, they didn't add an Obi-Wan and a Boga. If they added Obi-Wan and Boga to this set, then yes, I would be complaining, because it's like, okay, they're going for a specific scene. This just feels like a general battle, especially the fact that they're thrown in a dwarf spider droid, like they're not even thrown in a crab droid. I feel like Lego is being a little nonchalant, like, this is just a battle scene, you know, with a Phase 2 Commander Cody. I don't think this is a legit complaint. I think that it would have been nice. Yes, I don't think this was a requirement, like the crab droid. Like, the crab droid makes sense, that everyone should be complaining about the dwarf spider droid versus a crab droid. That's a stretch.
There's zero excuse to not have a Palpatine hologram.
Zero excuse?
It's one of the iconic scenes for Commander Cody in Episode 3, where he talks to Emperor Palpatine, says, "It will be done, my lord," and says, "Blast him." And then they blast him. So obviously
well, there's the thing, like... Oh, I was about to say it?
Or his animal or anything,
but
like, having this there would have been so cool for fans, and it's like mind-boggling to me why.
Well, they wouldn't have been able to say blast
hologram piece isn't included, and no, they didn't need to.
They
make
couldn't
a new mold.
play
That
out
would be
the scene.
expensive. They have an existing mold of a Palpatine hologram piece that is still in production to this day, but it came out in 2014 with the Star Destroyer. It showed up again in the first Star Destroyer in 2017. It showed up again in 2019 with Darth Vader's castle, and it's also in the Harry Potter Hogwarts castle Yet we couldn't get it in the ATTE set. Isn't that
I never
just
clicked that they
astonishing?
use
Now,
those
if
for
anything screams
necromancers.
Lego Star Wars, it is
That's...
that and exactly that. For our next
Learn
topic,
something
we're
new
going to
every
talk
day.
about the helmet holes on the Clone Troopers. With the Phase 2 Cody helmet, they obviously needed to add a visor, and back in 2013, when they released the newer styled Phase 2 helmet, they decided for whatever reason not to include any way to make attachments to the helmet, especially when it started with Captain Rex that could have
I didn't like that Lego did that. It was kind of annoying.
used an attachment for the helmet. Nonetheless,
They did have
this
holes
obviously
in
proved
the
to be a mistake, as they
ARC
couldn't do a Phase 2
Trooper
Cody
and
without making
Commander
another
Elite
change
set
to that
versus Commander
helmet.
Droids.
And so I believe they left the
Good.
helmet unchanged otherwise, but they literally just added in 2 holes kind of randomly wherever they needed above where they probably should have been. And so this looks fine on the Phase 2 Commander Cody because they're filled in and it just works, right? There's no problem at all for that particular figure. But the problem arises on the other 4 clone troopers in the set.
Here's the thing. I'm going to call this a subjective complaint again, and here's why. I know a good amount of people who wanted holes in Phase 2 Troopers. Like the fact that Phase 2 Troopers no longer came with holes and couldn't have accessories. That was a problem for a lot of people. So although he thinks it looks bad, or that he thinks that apparently the regs should not have holes in their helmets, I know a lot of people who actually do want that. So I'm going to put this as a subjective complaint. I actually think, so this is the whole reason why his analogy of the paper doesn't work. Because let's say Lego didn't put holes in the helmets. For him, maybe would go up a letter grade or something. I know for a lot of people, they'd be like, oh, Lego still isn't putting holes in these clone troopers. You know, like the grade for them, it would go down maybe a letter grade. So once again, you have to find the average. And like also with these guys, like I know a lot of people, the fact that Lego did put holes in the sides of their helmets, like they're probably given this set an even higher grade than they would have if there weren't any holes, because they've wanted this for so long. Me personally, I like this, and I hope Lego continues to put holes in the side of clones' helmets, all of them. The reason being is because I do like the option of adding those clone attachments. I like that. It just makes sense for mocks and stuff. Like if you are doing like a dark, like a cave mock or something, you want all of them to have those like side flashlight things or something like that. Like I think it's a good decision by Lego.
At all. Of course, proponents of this will say you can customize this, blah blah blah. You can do fun things. You know, that's fun and all, but my thing is
accuracy.
You could have easily included the Phase 2 Cody helmet with
My
the
thing
holes
is
for Phase 2 Cody, and then the other helmets for the other clone troopers, so that they don't look terrible in line with your other clone troopers. Don't have holes, because they're still producing the clone trooper helmets without holes for 501st troopers, 332nd troopers, and most recently, literally 2 months ago, 187th troopers that are going to be available alongside this ATTE for a couple years, right? So it makes no sense to have 2 different style clone trooper helmets. Like, it makes sense to have 2 different.
Or maybe Lego's just changing it. You know, maybe Lego's shifting. I mean, we don't have a lot of like info yet. Like, let's say another Clone Wars set or Revenge of the Sith set with clones, and it comes out after the ATTE, and they don't have holes in their helmets. Where it's like, okay, maybe because Lego could have been working on it before. I just feel like we don't have enough information to say like this is inconsistent. Like maybe this is the pivot that Lego's doing, which I would welcome this pivot.
Helmets. But you need to be selective when you use them, and they are not being selective when they use them, and I think that is bad. The Phase 2 helmets with holes being used here for clone troopers that very obviously do not need nor should have it is a major...
I disagree. I always think the gunners should have the holes, because most of the time when we see gunners, they have like the mini binocular that comes down so that they can see far away. I think that makes sense for the gunner. As far as these guys go, yes, you didn't really see attachments in the Battle of Utapau, but you do see it throughout like the Clone Wars TV show and stuff. And
major letdown.
Oh no,
almost as much of a letdown to you as the new videos on badmnrvids.com. I built badmnrvids.com using Squarespace, an easy-to-use, all-in-one platform that allows you to build
okay,
a
I'm skipping this.
Stay listed.
Don't care.
Go to Squarespace domain. They're talking Obviously, we talked about the crab.
Oh, there we go. Okay, we're back.
There's two things left that I particularly dislike about the ATT
Two things?
set.
Whole
Obviously,
two
we
things.
talked about the crab droid for the droid side of things, and the 3 battle droids, while a highlight in one way, are a negative in another way.
Oh, gosh.
LEGO hasn't
What's he
released
gonna
a
say?
Super Battle Droid, I believe, since 2016. This would have been a prime opportunity to bring the Super Battle Droid back in a, albeit expensive set, but at least it's in a set. That's usually my point of view. Like, not everything can be in the cheapest possible thing. And so, no Super Battle Droid here is a huge letdown, because Super Battle Droids are like big part of the Utapau scene. They're like half the battle droids that you see in the scene, right? 3 battle droids is nice, like it's a good number, but it's a bad diversity of characters.
Well, I feel like if you go with that logic, then you expect them to like add a droid echo or something like that. You know, I feel, you know, yeah, it would be nice to have like 2 B1s, 1 B2. That would be a nice variety. I completely agree. It would have been nice. But here's the thing, like, you know, it's I think that one is more so that's probably the second complaint. That's probably the complaint that is closest, most valid to the crab droid one that he gave, because the crab droid one I completely agree. This one I think he does like although I don't think, once again, I don't think it's necessary that LEGO gave us any B2s, because who knows, maybe bringing out that mold or something. I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe they're working on a new one now. No. But I think that one is probably the second most justified complaint that he's given, because there are a lot of B2 battle droids in the Battle of Utapau. It would have been nice. It definitely would have been nice. And it would have been nice to have a wide variety of that. So I'll give that to him. I'll give it to him, sort of, half.
Alongside maybe a battle droid.
70%.
Yeah, unfortunate to say the least. And then finally we have the box art. Of course, the box art is probably the least important thing of all of these things to anyone.
Please.
But it's something that I find myself so...
If he starts complaining about the stripes again, I might actually lose it.
intrigued by and so confused by, because they continually, in my opinion, screw it up. They made this new box art for 2022.
Okay.
They are, in a way, copying Black Series with the color striping to match each individual property for the shows. However, for anything that's for one of the main 9 Skywalker Saga movies, they have been giving them blue stripes. That is for both Episode 5 sets and Episode 2 sets to this point. Those are the only kind of episodical sets we've had, so they've gotten both blue stripes. And so you would assume Episode 3 sets would also get the blue stripe. But for this Episode 3 set, they gave it the Clone Wars box art with the 332nd Trooper. Now, the previous Episode 3 sets that we got in summer of 2020, where they were doing like characterized box art, so they didn't have the blue stripe, but the character was still indicative of what it belonged to. They used Darth Vader to denote Skywalker Saga. They used the 332nd Trooper, of course, to denote the Clone Wars. They didn't do anything for individual movies like they're not doing now, same thing. To be in line and consistent with what LEGO Star Wars box art is currently, it should have a blue stripe with Darth Vader. I don't understand why it doesn't have that. It would also match what they did in 2020 as far as what in Episode 3 gets for box art. It's...
No, I'm not gonna. No, I'm just gonna keep listening.
just mind-boggling to me. It's honestly the most mind-boggling of all of the things, because it's the thing that costs no money for them to get right. Like, all of these other things, right? It probably costs them a little bit more money to do a Super Battle Droid than a Battle... Like, all of these other things, like Crab Droid probably has more pieces than a Spider Droid. You can at least look at it and be like, it might be a money thing. They might be trying to squeeze you for every penny. But for box art, it's like literally changing a color on a screen, swapping out a character for the character that you already have on 10 other boxes. Like, it's not like a money thing. It's just a sensical thing, and they are nonsense.
So he's assuming, because this box art doesn't match what he believes Lego's pattern is, Lego's being nonsensical. The fact that it would have been very easy for Lego to... I mean, like, you know... Yes, Lego has messed up on the box stuff before, but that's like, you know, the Imperial logo versus the Republic logo on a UCS gunship. Like, that's easy to miss. Like, you don't just easily miss the color and the minifig that's portrayed on the box art, which makes me believe that it is purposeful. Depending on what else he says, I might go into why... I have a theory right now, actually, on why Lego is doing what they're doing. Let me just see.
Sensical in that way. you know, the box art generally for Lego Star Wars 2 has been good. I've really liked the styles that they've been doing for it, and I like a lot of the things like the side box art. But then there's times where they don't do the side box art, and then it doesn't match everything else, and there's times like they mess up the colors like we have here. And like all of these things I just hate so much because Black Series does it so well and it looks so awesome, and we could have that with Lego Star Wars, but we don't because they don't know how to do it. And it's so frustrating like that, you know? All it takes is one person with like an increment of like, hey, just fix this. It takes 30 seconds, and like you're good. Like it's just that's why it's so frustrating to me too. Is how
even a
easy,
word?
especially the
I'm
box
just gonna
art
have
is.
one
So
second.
yeah, it's not like, and it's not even the box art. It's the box like stripe.
Incrum?
It's that simple, right? It's not
Is
like
that
you have
even
to
a word?
redesign the
I don't
entire
even
thing
think-
from scratch. It's not like they put it on the
An
wrong
incrim?
planet and they did
An
a Hoth art instead of
incrim?
Utapau or something, right?
Incrim?
It's like just having consistency in your lineup.
I think he meant inkling, because inkling is a word, and that would make sense in his because inkling, slight knowledge or suspicion. He definitely said incrum. Wait, bro, I'm really trying to find a word that's close to incrim, inkring. I think he meant inkling. Inkling would have been the correct word to use there. Did he say inkling or? What's the what's captions say? Let's rewind. For the kicks and giggles. Why not?
It's the box. Like you're good. Like it's just, hey, just fix this. All it takes is one person with like an increment of like, hey, just fix this.
Incrum.
It takes 30 seconds, and like you're good. Like it's just that's why it's so frustrating to me too. Is how easy, especially the box
This has
art is.
nothing to
So,
do with this
yeah,
video.
it's
it's
not,
just
like, and it's not even the box
I
art,
think someone
it's
should
the
tell
box,
him that
like stripe.
the word he's thinking of
It's
is
that
inkling.
simple, right?
Not
it's not like you have to
incrum.
redesign
Is
the
someone
entire thing
comment
from
that?
scratch. It's
I
not
know,
like they
I'm
put
still
it
listening,
on the
don't
wrong
worry. I just
planet
wanna-
and they
what do
did
we got
a
here?
Hoth art instead of Utapau or something, right? It's like just having consistency in your lineup, and they can't.
Yeah,
even
yeah,
have
I
it.
agree
So,
with that.
box art frustrates me.
Incrum.
Lego Star Wars is bad at it, even though in
Incrum.
some ways they're good at it, obviously. But like, yeah, those are my 5 things that I think are wrong with the ATT, and that should have been fixed, and just quite frankly never will be fixed because Lego Star Wars doesn't go back in and fix things after they're released. So that's unfortunate. Let me know if you guys think anything else is wrong with the ATT in the comment section below.
Gosh.
Obviously, I like the set, but I wanted to make a video talking about the things that I thought were wrong with the set. Anyway, make sure you hit the like button if you enjoyed, turn on those notifications so you don't miss my review of the set as soon as I get it in hand, and you can check out more Lego Star Wars videos on the
That was this is actually okay. So yeah, the box art. I guess I'll talk about it now. I might do a video explaining it better, but essentially what my theory is that Lego is doing like the Lego is doing eras, not necessarily movies, because the new Inquisitor Scythe transport ship that has a blue stripe. But it has like Obi-Wan versus Darth Vader at the bottom, but it's during the reign of Darth Vader. Now, I mean, you do have Darth Vader with the blue stripe with the Obi-Wan Kenobi Jedi Starfighter, which that doesn't make much sense. So I'm gonna have to really think about that. I do think there is a reason. I think Lego's doing something with Era, and maybe they're, I think maybe they're just trying to figure out their own thing. I don't know, maybe the what was it, box series or whatever the heck it's called, the black the black box, whatever it's called. Maybe they like complained or something. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, that's my reaction to this video. Obviously, I disagree with him more than I agree with him, but I do agree with him at some points. But yeah, let me know what you think. Don't forget, guys, this is just my opinion, and because it's just my opinion, just like, honestly, comment whatever you want, like, it's freedom. Yeah, comment whatever you like. If you want to make a reaction video to this, you can also go right ahead. If you want to bash me for 30 minutes straight, you do that, because you are free to do so. You do not even need my permission. And MandR, if you watch this video, first of all, yeah, it's inkling, not incrum. And second of all, if you want to make a video responding to this, then go right for it. But yeah, these are my thoughts on this video. There we go. Like, comment, subscribe, if you haven't already, and click the bell icon, join the Discord server, all that stuff. I'm really looking forward to the ATT Walker. I think it's practically perfect, other than the fact that the Crab Droid versus the Dwarf Spyro Droid, but that's the only thing I would change, to be completely honest. And I do think that's an objective complaint, because just because the movie shows it, everything else is very optional, very everything like that. So, there we are. See you all in the next video, everyone. Peace out.